This is Terry, and this is my walkaway story. Actually, started about 2.5 years ago. Time flies, or maybe three, when Trump came into the scene. I knew that I did not want to vote for a Democrat because Obama had done us wrong. I fell for his hope and change, and I always say that he left me hopeless, and the only thing that changed was my political affiliation. So thank you, Obama, for that. You do deserve credit for that. Many of us ex-Democrats do. But my only issue for getting involved politically as a lifelong Democrat was Obamacare. Having to pay that health care penalty on top of the taxes I was already paying was criminal to me. And having to pay a penalty because I didn't buy a government product didn't seem like America to me anymore. And I also started feeling like there was a change in how people reacted to things. Like I couldn't ask for a black pen without being like, why are you asking for a black pen? I'm like, it's just a black pen. I'm not being racist. And I always kid around like that because I literally could not criticize Obama without being called a racist. I just thought that was the oddest thing. I didn't know that there was so much happening when he said he wanted to transform this country. He really did. And we're still, 2 years later, trying to get back to America again, where we're not so divided. It's like a mass public exorcism. And man, those progressives and those liberal Obama lovers, still putting up a fight. But anyways, I'm a first generation American, and I've always said I'm American. My nationality is American. When people would ask me during the election, why or how could you vote for Trump as a Latina? What has he offered for the Latinos? And I would always say, well, when he says that he's going to do XYZ for Americans, I include myself in that. And it seemed like the Democrats were the only ones that wanted to dissect me and separate me into all these different categories, female, Latina, first generation, parents are Mexican nationals. So that means I gotta be for, everybody coming in illegally and not following the laws. But it was the only people that have ever made me feel less than what I am, which is an American, are the Democrats. So every time Trump would say, I'm gonna do XYZ for Americans, I included myself in it. I will never forget the moment where I said, you know what, I'm going to get on that Trump train. It was just on the Trump train. I'm not going to become a Republican. I'm just going to switch, party affiliation to vote for Trump. It was, when they were calling him Hitler and all this stuff, and for whatever he said about the rapists that are coming in from Mexico, I was never offended. He was speaking the truth. I live in a border state, and I know what goes on the border, so he was speaking the truth. Not all illegals that are coming in from the border are criminals, but a good percentage of them are. The border has changed, so I didn't understand what all this outrage was about. I didn't realize how in the pocket of the media the Democratic Party was either, so I was just, blown away by all the propaganda. And I knew enough to say, Hitler, the one thing he did have for him was the media pushing his propaganda, just like the Democrats. So anyway, so when he kicked out Jorge Ramos from one of the press conferences, because Jorge Ramos was being a child and didn't want to wait his turn, or had his turn and wanted more time, I said, oh my God, tomorrow it's over for him. The raza's coming after him. Everybody's coming after him, because you don't do that to Jorge Ramos. He's like the, he's just held in this great position in the Latino community. And I said, it's over for Trump. His campaign is over. And the next day, he kept going. He wouldn't back down. And I said, that's who I want as president. He's a man with balls. That's what we need. And someone who's not going to cower just because, you know, the media is saying X, Y, Z. So that's when I got on the Trump train. But I'll tell you, when I finally walked away, and it's been in pieces, but this is the memory I remember is watching the San Jose rally on television, and watching, I mean, I close my eyes and I can still see the images, and they still upset me because this is not the America that I grew up in. But watching them egg a woman, watching them scream at, you know, families holding their babies in their arms. And the worst, what was the aerial view of a white kid, skinny white kid, I'll never forget it, running around and being chased like he was prey. No police around. And all this, and bloodied people, you know, sucker punched. And all this because they decided to support a candidate for president, and the media was telling them that he was the second coming of Hitler and neo-Nazi and all lies, white supremacists, all absolute lies. That's when I said, whatever is happening here, I don't know if I could support a party that the next day does not condemn these violent acts. In fact, they blamed it on Trump's rhetoric, and they still do. Everything is Trump's fault. You know, the Democrats are like the children that never ever take responsibility for anything. To this date, it always, well, Trump said you can grab them by the bleep, so we're going to, it's okay if this happens. And Trump said no responsibility for their actions. But when the Democratic Party, including Hillary, did not come out and condemn that, I said never again. I cannot support a party that is turning this country into, countries that we leave. We leave countries that, don't allow you to dissent from, whatever the mainstream government or party in power want you to believe. Communism, socialism, all that stuff. We come here for the American dream, not the Mexican nightmare, not the Honduran nightmare, not the Salvadorian, not any of that. And these Antifas became synonymous with the left, and the left still to this day will not call them what they are. They're mobsters. They're a violent, hateful mob. So that's when I really walked away. And every day it's confirmed to me that I made the right decision because, Eric Holder recently said, when they go low, we kick them. Hillary, we can't be civil until we get back into power. Then we'll chill. Maxine Waters, don't let them eat. Don't follow them everywhere. Basically calling for mobs to go after anyone that's a Republican. They've had powder sent to them. We've had Republicans shot while playing baseball by someone who was, from what I know, someone who was heavy into the MSNBC, especially Rachel Maddow, who, if you ever watch her, it's all conspiracies. CNN, all the liberal stuff that tells you that the end of the world is coming every day, and 2 years later, it's not the end of the world. He hasn't blown the world up. Instead, he's actually done the opposite. And they still want to say that this is going to happen when reality is that we're experiencing amazing results from an amazing president who is fulfilling promises. So that's my main reason for walking away. You know, it started out for me for selfish reasons for Obamacare, because I hated that extra, you know, penalty when I pay taxes, and I do pay taxes. But then it really became for me a matter of walking away and staying away, because this is about saving our country. I have gone to Democrat events and people literally are clapping for redistribution of wealth, for socialist ideas, and it just mind boggles me. You know, the reason I'm staying where I'm put and never going back is because instead of, you know, supporting me as an individual, I'm called names. You know, of course, a sellout, I've coon, Tia Tomasa in Spanish for Uncle Tom, but all these hateful, vile names. I've been attacked twice myself physically. You know, apparently wearing a Latina for Trump shirt triggers them. Am I going to stop wearing my Latinas for Trump shirt? No. You know, I want my children to live in the America that I grew up in, where we may have disagreements, but we don't attack each other just because of a shirt that we're wearing that supports a candidate or a president or whoever that we don't agree with. That's fascism. You know, and it's sad to me that instead of being happy for me when I went to the inauguration or when I go somewhere and they see me wearing my Trump stuff, instead of, you know, being happy for me, they said, Mom, please be careful. Please be careful. They're more worried about me because they know and they see what's going on with the violence targeting Trump supporters. And what my oldest has asked me, you know, Mom, can you not wear them? Because, you know, we worry about you. And I said, no, you know, I know that you worry, but I want you guys to live in the country that I grew up in, the country that my parents came to, that promises us freedom of speech and we can have that freedom to express ourselves how we want without fear of being beat up by mobs. And now these mobs are being encouraged and promoted by the Democrats. And it's not new. Loretta Lynch called. She said there may be blood on the streets when Trump got elected. This is not new. You want to talk about dog whistles? That's where we have the dog whistles. So that's my walkaway story. You know, it's not terribly exciting, but I wanted to make this video because sometimes it is frustrating watching all the violence out there. But I always tell people, I go, let them keep doing what they're doing, because there's moderate Democrats like me that are not going to be okay with that and are going to see the good that this president is doing and are going to walk away and realize that they should never, for now, elect a Democrat into anything. They are so power hungry that they are acting unhinged. They are promoting lawlessness. When you are okay with a caravan of invaders coming from Central and South America to just barge into our country, as a lawmaker, you are promoting lawlessness. So no Democrat, in my opinion, is worthy of my vote now, and I hope many people feel that way. I don't know what's going to happen, you know, with the Democrats. I just know that for now, I can never vote Democrat again, and I don't fear. I think it's good that we have a balance in the government, but I've never been more afraid of the Democrats getting control than I am now. Because of what they are spewing and what they represent. It's pretty amazing. I mean, if Trump's policies were failing, I could see getting behind them if they didn't, you know, advocate for mob and lawlessness. But in this case, Americans in general are doing better under the Trump administration and Republicans. So you would think they would be happy with that, you know, low Latino and Black unemployment, low unemployment for women, Blacks, 400% increase in business ownership, It's like, what do they want us to be? You know, unemployed, homeless, and dependent on the government, and you know, but we're gonna mark that Democrat box. No, no, I'm literally scared of any Democrat getting any power. So that's my walkaway story. And remember, deplorable lives matter, people. Peace.